Hello, my name is Luke Reeder, and this is my personal reflection for Standard 1 lesson video. So I'll just do a quick recap first. So my introduction, I've been teaching these kids for about some of them for 2 years, some of them for 3 years, and some of them for 4 years. So they know the songs that I've chosen before. I'll use the same one set of songs for 1 month for all my classes. And so March's songs are usually like the more easy, the more boring ones because they're also for like the 3 and 4-year-olds who haven't learned really any English yet. So I'm not that bothered that they were not super into the lesson part of it, just because they're very familiar with these songs. The word of the day, I thought it went very well. All the students tried, and a few of them even got very close to reading the word onomatopoeia. And they also seem to enjoy understanding or even guessing what the word means. The story was Horrid Henry. They enjoyed it. Since the story is also longer, it's 6 chapters, I asked them what they remember from the previous chapters, and they get a little bit of a recap from that, and then they always are disappointed when the chapter ends. They always want to have more of it. The Collins, which is the unscrambling the sentence part, it went well, and this is where I'd probably make the biggest improvement in my lesson plan, or my lessons. I will talk about that later. But I thought they did very well, and yeah, so that would probably be like the area where I'd probably improve the most for my personal part. The writing book, I thought it went very smoothly as well. They comprehended the writing sample very well, and they were able to answer the questions without too much difficulty, and they were also able to fill in that outline without too much difficulty. And also, this is their first actual writing book, and we're only on Unit 2, so they've only done that outline once before in this book, so I'm very proud that they were able to figure out how to do it so quickly. I've had other classes in the past that have done the same book, and they were not able to figure out where the answers came from, so I'm very happy that they were able to do that. And the speaking book, they had a lot of fun. I did deviate from my lesson plan a little bit. I did say I was going to use the TV and have a spinning wheel thing. I decided not to use that and just write words on the board, just because it was, they're kids, they don't need to be looking at TV so much. And I was very happy that a few of the kids actually got the word in the end. And the closing is a pretty standard for this group. Other groups I would usually probably like sing a goodbye song, but with this group I usually don't. Also because they have a Korean teacher coming in to have a lesson with them anyways, so it just makes it a little bit, that way I can also spend a little bit more time teaching with them. So what would I do to change anything? So this is going back to that Collins book when they had to unscramble the sentences. I would have been more on top of how a couple of the students were working at the beginning, it's like especially during the individual time. If I had caught that, they were making bigger mistakes than I thought they were, then that would have saved time closer while I was correcting some of them. So like after I'd written the sentence on the board, I probably should have walked around the classroom to make sure that they were actually correcting their sentences and so forth. Excuse me. So that probably would have been the biggest improvement, just to make sure that they were all kind of on the same page. And what would I reteach? I will probably I'll have to reteach periods in capital letters later on, just because some students can listen to it and practice it on their own all the time that they want, but if I ask them to do that independently, they will not put a capital letter or a period. So maybe next time I'd also maybe ask them to circle the capital letters and circle the periods in their work. So if they don't have if they didn't write down a capital letter or a period, then they would have to fix it so they can circle them. But also it is kind of difficult for them to remember, especially capital letters, because Korean doesn't have capital letters. And then periods, it's kind of, most books will have a period in Korean, some books will not, so it's kind of 50-50, but they're not really pushed for that at this age as well in Korean. So my standard 1, to begin, the topics taught were not super difficult for them to grasp. All of them A lot of it was pretty much review from last year, except for the writing book section. But again, like I said before, they did very well with understanding the concepts and everything like that. I went a little bit more in depth with the importance of a period, or the role of a period, that I never taught them last year. And these books that I've been teaching from, they were decided from my manager, and so they are quite age appropriate. Some parts are easy for them, but other parts can present a little bit of a challenge just to keep them growing in their English journey. And so that is my recap for Standard Video 1 lesson. Thank you.